Dawn worships the sun. By noon, it's background noise. Your presence works the same way. Burn too long, and you blind them. Vanish for a moment, and suddenly, everyone is starving for light. That hunger isn't romantic poetry. It's neurology. Scarcity yanks the brain's threat alarms, triggering loss aversion circuits that scream, "Get it before it's gone." The prophet of persuasion, Robert Cialdini, proved it in the simplest lab on earth: a cookie jar. 2 cookies left, and they taste divine. 10 cookies left, and nobody cares. The dessert never changed, only its rarity did. From boardrooms to breakups, the same code runs silently underneath. Limited access multiplies perceived value. Fast forward to modern dating labs. Psychologists at the University of Rochester wired up volunteers for the oldest chase on record. Boy meets girl. Girl plays hard to get. Attraction ratings spiked because the hard-to-get partner broadcast one irresistible message: "Others want me, do you?" Scarcity masquerading as selectivity ignited pursuit instinct like dry tinder catching flame. 500 years earlier, Niccolo Machiavelli delivered the same verdict from Renaissance Florence. In The Prince, he warns that a ruler who lets subjects touch the throne daily bleeds authority drop by drop. Better the sovereign appear seldom yet decisively. Presence diluted is power dissolved. Absence doesn't just magnetize romance and reigns, it can strengthen love across time zones. Communication scholar surveys show many long-distance couples score higher on intimacy and satisfaction because every reunion feels expensive. Modern relationship therapists call this relational savoring, mentally reliving precious moments to keep the bond alive during the dry spells. Scarcity makes even memory taste sweeter. Workplaces, too, bow to the law of limited access. Microsoft's multi-year Work Trend Index found that executives who restrict replies to set office hour blocks are viewed as more decisive than leaders who comment on every ping, every minute. Schedule scarcity, it turns out, looks like confidence. The British Psychological Society labels the darker version absentee leadership, rare visibility that breeds mystique but can quietly corrode morale if taken too far. So scarcity is a double-edged scalpel. Wielded wisely, it carves status. Mishandled it, wounds loyalty. Chronic withdrawal morphs into neglect, inviting stress, lowered trust, even mental health fallout among teams. In romance, insecure partners may detach rather than desire when distance feels like abandonment. Your goal is artistic absence, not accidental disappearance. The 3-step absence protocol. Step 1. Signal scarcity. Announce intentional withdrawal. Off-grid for 48 hours to build something that matters. The public boundary flips the loss aversion switch before you even leave. Step 2. Create a value vacuum. Deliver excellence just before vanishing. A razor-sharp memo, a decisive insight, a gift of unexpected clarity. Recency bias welds your parting act to your identity, so the vacuum left behind hums with expectation. Step 3. Return with leverage. Re-enter holding something scarce. Information, a solution, deep attention. In limited doses, attention feels like oxygen to the suffocating. Scarcity married to authority detonates perceived value. Case studies in engineered absence. Steve Jobs stepped on stage only when a new device was ready to drop jaws, turning keynote silence into ritualistic suspense. Each absence reset the baseline. Anticipation did the marketing for him. Beyoncé wiped her socials, then detonated a surprise album with zero warning. Digital silence plus sudden presence shattered streaming records in 24 hours. Scarcity partnered with shock, and the world pressed replay. Modern dating apps echo the cookie jar study. Profiles that toggle to hidden for a spell attract more interest when they reappear. Scarcity signals demand, and demand fuels desire. Even fledgling managers can harness the blade. Limit meeting invitations to 2 crisp slots a day, and co-workers quickly learn to bring their best questions. When the knife cuts too deep, but stay gone too long, and scarcity mutates into uncertainty. At work, it's called ghost leadership. Decisions stall, trust fractures, stress surges. Research on workplace stress links unresponsive leadership to higher presenteeism costs, showing up sick, burned out, dragging productivity down. In love, unstructured silence invites monsters. Attachment-anxious partners may interpret distance as rejection, lighting emotional wildfires instead of warming the heart. If your partner's mind fills the vacuum with fear, scarcity backfires. Mastering the cadence. So, craft a rhythm. Presence sharp enough to deliver value, absence long enough to amplify it. Think of a drum. The beat moves people not just by the sound of the strike, but by the hush between strikes. Space generates meaning. Scarcity is the negative space of status. Set clear windows for contact, so absence looks like intention, not neglect. Leave breadcrumbs of purpose. Brief updates, a countdown clock, a hint of what brews behind the curtain. You're not vanishing, you're fermenting intrigue. The inner work behind outer scarcity. Strategic absence also trains self-discipline. Logging off forces you to wrestle silence, confront internal chatter, prioritize deep work. Brain imaging studies reveal that solitude and reduced stimuli can boost default mode network activity, sparking creative recombination. Scarcity of input begets abundance of insight. It tempers ego. When you stop performing availability, you relearn that worth isn't measured by rapid replies. You become a scarce resource even to yourself, guarding energy for high-signal endeavors. Deploying absence in the digital maze. Social media, post a meaningful thread, then disappear for 3 days. Watch engagement climb as comments accrue without constant stoking. Inbox, batch emails at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. only. Each response carries more weight because recipients know you've stepped back into the light just twice. Relationships. Schedule weekly presence peaks, intentional, undistracted hours, so interim silence feels like ripening, not avoidance. Creative work. Retreat for a 72-hour sprint. Tell collaborators the time frame. Execute. Return with a prototype that justifies every silent hour. Ethical scarcity. Manipulation starts where transparency ends. If scarcity is simulated, fake limited stock, artificial countdown timers, people feel tricked and retaliate. Strategic absence must be grounded in real limitation, finite time, finite attention, finite life. Power grows because you protect what's precious, not because you counterfeit shortages. Picture yourself as a lighthouse on a storm coast. Constant glare flattens into background glow, but a pulse cuts through miles of chaos. Ships steer by the gap, not the glare. Therefore, schedule your darkness. Guard it. Let the world yearn during the gaps, then flood them with light. Presence, absence, presence, each beat, forging value. Stay in every room, and you become wallpaper. Exit on purpose, and the doorway becomes a shrine. Walk away this week. Walk back, owning the room.